Hey guys, Joe here. You've seen this angle once or twice. This is called the I have too much crap on my desk angle, and now I need to film this from here. If you're new to the channel and you like these kind of videos, go ahead and subscribe down below. Maybe consider using the Amazon affiliate links. You can also check out some of the other videos here on the channel. There's closing in on 800 videos, so I'm sure you'll be able to find something you like. Help me grow the channel, and I can get to 1,000 hopefully by the end of the year. If we do a few a week, that should work out just fine. Today's video is going to be on a Glock pistol. Just kidding. If you guys know your firearms, you'll know this is a Glock, and it's a pretty cool piece. It's one that I personally wouldn't mind owning. I can't afford it right now because of reasons, and but I want to take a look at it and show you guys how cool it is and how Glock actually makes some fun stuff. Because the one argument people make against Glock is, oh, they're boring, they're staid, they're common, all that stuff. And you know what? They work like a charm. And honestly, a 1911, and I'm a huge 1911 guy, you know that, are all the same. So a Glock are all the same. You modify them, they look different. You don't modify them, they all look the same. Nothing wrong with that. And today's gun is no different. Today's gun is a Glock 34. Let me take this tag off real quick. This one is still available through Liberty Arms, so just go ahead and Google them. They're in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and you can pick this one up for yourself. And it's actually a pretty good price. It's just about 600 bucks, which is still not marked up much compared to what some other guys in the industry right now are charging. Let's go ahead and do a safety check. Drop your mag, open the slide, physically and visually check it, and you are good to go. Always make sure that you're pointed in a safe direction. I'm in a basement. There's a stone wall back there. So we are good to go. This, in case you couldn't tell or you're not that up to current standards for firearms, is a Gen 4 Glock 34. The way you can tell Gen 4 is that it has finger grooves. Gen 5s do not. This is a double stack 9mm with a longer slide. It's basically a 17L. Although they did make a 17L, so this is the competition version of the 17L. As you can see right off the bat, it does have a lightning cut. I don't know why I put that back in, but we'll take a look at that in a second. In order to lighten the front end, so it will cause it to come back down a little bit quicker. This really won't do much in terms of compensation because the barrel obviously goes all the way forward. But the overall look, fit, finish of the gun is Glock quality, and that's what you can come to expect from a Glock. So in typical Glock fashion, it just has some rear slide serrations here and your typical U-notch sights. However, this one is slightly different because the rear, even though it looks like a standard sight, is fully adjustable, which is nice to have. So you have up and down, left and right adjustability. Front sight is screwed in through the bottom like all the Glocks are, so you can get up in there with the tool, pop that bad boy off, and give yourself a really nice front sight. This is a competition ready factory gun, so you can put it in regular factory class for like ISPCA, and that would be awesome. As you can see, it comes standard with a 17+1 configuration, so 17 rounds in the mag, 1 in the gun itself. Being that it's a brand new Glock, you get 3 mags and a speed loader, a gun lock. And because it's a Gen 4, Gen 4s and Gen 5s have interchangeable back straps. And that's really cool because you can change how the feel of the gun is. Personally, I like putting on these beaver tail ones because it gives me a little bit of a higher grip without having to worry about any slide bite. Because these grip up high enough that if I'm not paying attention, I actually have in the past gotten slide bite on the inside of this finger because I tried riding the slide like that. So you got to be careful, but if you are careful, you're going to have a hell of an experience. Standard stippling on the frame, and you can get some really nice stuff made. However, I have read recently that the companies that were making aftermarket frames, because it's serialized, they're not low. They're gone because they got in trouble for some reason. Maybe because that's the part that's serialized. So overall, it's a 6-inch gun versus a 4 3/4 inch gun. It feels really nice in the hand. Honestly, this is the one I would buy, personally. but you should always go into the store, put your hands on something, and see what you think of it. So it has the standard Glock accessory rail on it, so you can put lights, lasers, all that good stuff. Mount an optic upside down just to make your friends confused. Actually, for fun, I wanted to put like a gangster style, you know how they hold like that? I wanted to put a side-mounted optic and try to go to the range like that and try to shoot it. I thought that would be funny. Has a nice undercut underneath the trigger guard, which also helps you get nice and high up on the firearm. You can use the takedown levers as your memory spots on either side, which is really nice to do. As you can see, this is not an ambidextrous pistol. It just has a slide release on the one side and the mag release. I think mag releases are reversible, but obviously the slide lock is not. Trigger has the standard trigger safety on it, so when that's engaged, you can pull the trigger. When it's not, you cannot. Pretty simple. Flat front trigger guard, so you can put your lights or lasers up there and butt them back against the trigger guard. Obviously it's striker fired, has an external extractor. This one has a breech lockup system. So this one is single action only. Let's move this box out of the way so you can see the trigger action a little bit easier. As you can see, when you pull the trigger, it's now dead. It won't come back out unless you have a loaded magazine or you manually rack the slide, at which point the trigger comes back out. In terms of the trigger feel, it's not bad actually. It's still a little bit on the weighty side, probably comes in at about 7.5 pounds-ish, somewhere in there. A lot of just standard striker fired pistols have a weighty trigger to them. It's a little bit, it's actually almost preferred in a gun like the Glock, which has no external safeties, because then you have to be a little bit more deliberate. It's harder to accidentally pull the trigger. You can feel it starting to pull, unlike some guns like 1911s that can have as low as 3-pound triggers. Those guns you can actually set off just trying to put them in your holster. The reset on the gun is not bad. It's about halfway out. You can see, about halfway out, and goes right back to the wall, and you can also hear and feel the reset, which I like. If you're a precision shooter, that will come in handy, but when you have as much nerve damage as I do, it's just slap and clap. Well, now that we've talked about it, let's go ahead and pop the top off. Glocks are really easy to do, but first, as always, let's do another safety check, even though I have clearly not put anything in it. Check the barrel, check the mag well, make sure the magazine is not in the gun. Once you do that, you can go ahead and drop your slide, and then what you're going to do is wrap your hand over the top, and as you can see, I've pulled it back just slightly so that you can disengage or pull down the tabs on the side here. Once you do that, you release the slide, pull the trigger, and the top comes off the bottom. We'll take a look at the frame in a second. Taking a look at the slide, it has a double nested captive spring and guide rod, which is good. This is a metal guide rod with a rubber or plastic tip on it. This is nice. It aids in longevity. Early Glock 1 or Gen 1 and Gen 2 Glocks had plastic guide rods, which could wear out in the 5 to 10,000 round range. Not terrible, but that's something you should always upgrade just in case. Let's pop the barrel out, and as you can see, this is a long boy, finished in a nice black finish. It's your standard Glock, and this is what I was talking about with the breech lockup. What happens is it engages the front of the extractor point or ejection port and locks up there instead of lugs on the barrel like a 1911. Has the classic tilting lockup. However, it's not a swinging link lockup, it's just a cam style lockup, so it comes back and just drops down into the frame. Overall finish on the slide is as expected for Glock, which is to say it's very nice. You can always see some marks in a Glock. They do their best, but again, they are building to a price point. Even though it's a higher price point than other Palm or Wonder guns, as people like to call them, it's still a hell of a good finish on these guns. It's definitely worth it to invest in one of these if you're looking for a reliable gun. This is your drop safety on here, and that is your striker. Pretty basic inside, wouldn't you agree? There's a lot of stuff you can do with the slides on these 34s. You can get more relief cuts put in, like this one has, because that does take a few ounces out of the top of this gun because it's actually pretty weighty. It's like a king-size Snickers bar right there. I would suggest putting some front slide serrations on it because it is a longer barrel, so front slide manipulation is pretty good on these. So you can grab it, rack it real fast. Taking a look at the frame, you have your inserts here for the fire control group, and yes, it does have metal rails that it rides on, which I always approve of. Pretty easy to take out. You just got to knock out a couple of pins, so it's not field serviceable or field strippable completely like a pardon me, I was going to say Wilson Combat 320, but a SIG P320. But it is doable. You just need to knock out a couple of pins. You can pull the whole fire control group out. Pretty basic setup. It's the same setup that Glock has been using on all its guns for a long time. It's, again, reliable and doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to do the damn job. Once you do that, these 4 parts are your field stripped Glock 34. Reassembly is really easy. You just take the barrel, flip it over, make sure it's not turned the wrong way, there you go, and bring it back to the breech face. And as you can see, that's the lockup I was talking about. Take your guide rod, pay attention to which end is which. Obviously this is the plug that goes in the front. You just pop her in there, and then you just push the spring down. You want your spring completely level. If it's off at any angle, the gun may not go back together well. Glocks are super easy to put back together. Once you have your assemblies together, you just take your slide, take your frame, and rack it. Literally, that's all it takes. These are one of the easiest guns to reassemble. Once you've done that, go ahead and make sure, again, safe direction, pull your trigger, and you're good to go. That's pretty damn cool, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed that quick video. I'm still recovering from the foot surgery I had, as well as the fact that I have a line in my arm going into my heart. So, you know, hopefully those come out pretty soon. And also we get this pandemic back under control. We jumped the gun on, pardon the pun, but we jumped the gun on getting back to our life on this planet, and it seems to have backfired a little bit. So do us all a favor. If you don't have to go out, don't. Stay at home, stay healthy, stay safe. If you want to buy a gun like this, you can do it online. Go to libertyarms.us and you can check out what he has there. You can call the store, Google it, Harrisonburg, Virginia. If I put their information in this video, instant demonetization, so we don't want that. But you can go ahead and Google that, find them, give them a call. Let me know if you have one of these, how many rounds you've put through it with or without any failures, because yes, even though it's a Glock, they can fail, and I want to know if anybody has had any issues. Maybe link me to your personal firearm videos if you have a modified one. I want to see what some people have been doing to them. This would be a good one to come back into the Glock world on, because it's the cost of a upper low end 1911. And that would be a cool one to have. I'm going to get out of here. I have one other to film before I have to give these back to Daniel, and he's going to take them down to the store where they're for sale. Other than that, thanks for checking this out with me. I hope you appreciate it. Hope you subscribe. Hope you get some stuff using my Amazon affiliate link so that we can afford to purchase some stuff. We're getting close to being able to just afford to just straight out buy a gun every month once I finish my computer obsession that I'm in right now. But we're getting there. If I get another 1,000 subs pretty soon, that'll make it a hell of a lot easier to just go out and buy firearms like this one and shoot them, and that's the goal. So I'm going to keep working on videos, you keep working on watching them, and as always, I'll talk to you later.